Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Good afternoon. This is the AM Language YouTube channel with me, Richie. I do apologize for my hair because it is. I was looking at it today and I thought to myself, Wolverine. I'm beginning to look like Hugh Jackman from Wolverine. All I need are some claw-like blades to come out of my hands. Irina F, good afternoon. Privyet, welcome to today's lesson. Hope you're doing well. Where I am in the world, it is miserable weather. But I know that in Malta, it is a nice sunny day. Well, I know parts of Malta are having a very nice sunny day. Leondina says, hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Leondina. Buono pomeriggio, Roberto. Good afternoon as well. Buono pomeriggio as well. Good afternoon to all of you. In today's lesson, we are going to look at expressing opinions. How can we go about trying to actually talk about opinions, expressing opinions? This can be difficult, and we need discourse markers. We'll also end up with, we'll have a little bit of a discussion as well in terms of some people's attitudes as well to opinions. So we'll have a look at all that today, but whatever we do, it's always going to be from an English point of view. I hope you're all doing well. It's a Wednesday afternoon, which means, well, it's not really the weekend yet, obviously, but it's midweek, and on a Wednesday, that Wednesday evening is that sort of evening when you begin to think, right, getting closer to the weekend and whatever your plans might be. As for the situation on the COVID side of things, I wish all of you very well. Make sure you look after yourselves and look after your mental health as well as your physical health. Really important during this period that even though you might be at home all the time or not really meeting people, make sure you look after yourselves in every single way. Really important on that one. Okay, so I'll give people just a few more, a couple, like 30 more seconds or so to join us, and then we'll get into it. Before we get into it, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background, okay? Some alternatives. I'm going to start off with a little question, okay? So here we've got opinions. Oh, I need to actually click in order to write. So we have opinions, and my question here is this. Which of the options below are is or are synonyms? Synonym. Difficult to write on here sometimes. Regarding the word opinions. Opinion. Okay, so that's the question over here. Your options are as follows. So remember, you're looking for synonyms. Okay, so words that have a similar meaning. Angela, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Great to have you on the lesson. Oh, sorry. Great to have you in the lesson today on the live chat. If this is your first time, make sure you subscribe and like the video, and feel free to tell me what your level is as well, and where you are from as well. So we've got you're in Mandy's class in pre-intermediate. Excellent. Well, welcome to the class, Angela. And you're from Colombia. Okay, so buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Welcome to today's lesson. One more. We'll leave it at 3. So, gracias. Very good. Okay. So, which of these 3 words, or maybe all of them, or just 2 of them, which of the options below is or are synonyms regarding the word opinion? Actually, you know what? I'm going to add a little bit more. You can add judgment in there. Good afternoon, Evelina. Buon pomeriggio. So Leondina says perspective, ideas, ABC. Okay, so effectively we're saying all of them. Okay, and to an extent, the answer is good afternoon, Alida. Buenos dia, because you're in Patagonia. So buona dia. Welcome to today's lesson. Arena F says ABC. Well, I'm going to say this. A, B, and D are what we would call closer to direct synonyms. And ideas, okay, we would say maybe a loose synonym. So it's not a direct synonym. It depends on the context. But C, what I'm going to say is yes, C. C, I'm going to say is a loose synonym. So you can make it similar, but there needs to be a little bit more of a context now and again for C. But technically, all of them can be. Now, what are we going to look at here when it comes to expressing opinions? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is let's go with this. You've got 2 things to think about. Okay, there are 2 things we need to operate. Okay, now we need to remember that there are 2 things we need to think about. There's being dismissive, and then there's being respectful. Can you guys tell me which one is positive, which one is negative? This is, for instance, someone says, when talking about other people's opinions, when having a conversation with people's opinions about whatever the topic it might be, sometimes people can be dismissive of other people's opinions. People can be respectful of other people's opinions. So which ones, those are the example sentences of how we can use it, but which one? Okay, so Leondina says dismissive is negative, respectful is positive, and Alida has said the exact same thing. And I'm very pleased to see that, because that is the correct answer. So first of all, dismissive is the negative one and respectful is the positive one. So the first thing we need to think about here is which phrases are dismissive, short for dis, okay? and which are respectful. So dis for dismissive, risp or sorry, resp, sorry, risp for respectful. Okay, let's go in for it. A. Okay, F. Okay, so just to get the little feel of what respectful and what A, B, C, D. Oh, I forgot E. Forgot E. I've done E and F the wrong way round. Apologies. Um, okay, so which ones are dismissive and which ones are respectful? Actually, let's go with one more. Two more. Okay, so Roberto has said that dismissives are B, D, E, and the respectful ones are A, C, F. Leondina, similar sort of answers going on over here. Leondina finishes off with that G is dismissive. Alida, okay, so A is respectful, B is dismissive, C is respectful, D is dismissive, F. Yeah, I know I got F and E the other way around. Apologies, I forgot about that. Okay, so you all have coming up with fairly similar answers. So let's go first of all with respectful. Okay, respectful. We've got A, um, C, F, and dismissive. B, C, E, and G. Okay, so those are the sort of things that we can look out for. We now have a good idea. Now we can sometimes take some and make them a little bit more respectful. Like if you take G, if something makes no sense, if you want to make G sound more respectful, you could say, um, something like, um, you could say, "I'm afraid that doesn't make very much sense." That would then be a little bit more respectful. And the important thing here is the way we go in. You can see here you're using words like I see what you're saying. I can see where you're coming from. I can see usually is always going to be associated with something respectful. I'm afraid that's also a good one to go in with. So we can begin to see, and this is really important. Um, this is really important because it helps, it softens the tone in the sense that you're still being respectful. So you can disagree with someone, but you're being respectful. Um, Now let's think of a question. I'm now going to look at dismissive. We're now going to look at questions, okay? Between being diplomatic, okay, which we're going to go with dip, and obviously this is positive, versus too bold. What's the best way to say it? Um, or versus too assuming, okay? So too ass, okay? Which is negative. So on one hand, you can be diplomatic, or the other hand, you can go in with something that is too assuming. So A, B, C. So here I'm just going to give you these simple examples. Which ones do you think are more diplomatic, and which ones do you think are more sort of in your, well, too assuming? I'm not sure of the right way because this, I would say, sort of like more in your face sort of things, like almost like someone going in with a punch sort of thing. But which ones sound more diplomatic? So Leontina says A is too assuming, B is diplomatic, C is too assuming, D is diplomatic. Well, if you agree with Leontina, let me know in the live chat section. And it looks like, yep, it looks like Alida agrees with you as well, and Angela as well. Okay, so diplomatic, you've got B and D, and the other, you've got A and C. Now, why is this important? It's because of the reaction you're going to get. If you go in saying, why do you think that? I didn't say that. It's like you're putting walls up. You're going to make the person more uncomfortable. And you might end up in what we call a shouting match or a big argument. But if you go in with, can I ask why you would think that? Or have you considered? Now, considered is really good. Considered is think about. Okay, this type of diplomatic language is great, not just for the workplace, not just for school, but with friends. Yes, it's formal, but you will have quite a lot of discussions with friends, and sometimes you need to use more diplomatic language. I would encourage to use this in relationships with friends. Um, when you meet people, this language keeps the conversation going at what we would call at a comfortable level. As soon as you start using sort of very dismissive language or being too assuming, you're going to make things more uncomfortable. So I really encourage this. Plus, the way you say it. Why do you think? Sorry. So let's go with B. Can I ask? Why would you think that? Can I ask? Why would you think that? Or why would you say that? Say it slower. The trick: slow down your speech. If you want to sound more polite when you're asking a question, slow down your voice and don't shout. Keep it at a nice tone. Okay. Now, why? How is this going to be important? Okay. Well, the thing is, when it comes to perspectives and talking about opinions, well, let's see what people think. Okay, we're going to have this in the live chat section. So let's just see if what people say. First of all, question A. Let's see what you guys think about this. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this when we are talking about opinions. Are all opinions, oh gosh, let me rewrite that. That's not very good English. Are all opinions equal, so the same, or are some opinions better than others? This is an important question just to see first because it's going to change the way you communicate. Um, so I have heard plenty of people who think that all opinions are equal, that they are the same. I've also heard plenty of people think that opinions are not all the same. Some opinions are going to be better than others. Personally, I agree with the last one, or what we call the latter. I don't think all opinions are the same, but let's just see what you guys think because that's going to be the entry point into our discussion today. Are all opinions the same? Um, because sometimes you end up with these conversations, and it helps to know what the way another person thinks. Um, because the question then becomes is why are you having a discussion in the first place? What are you trying to get at? What are you trying to convince? What are you trying to show? And this is going to change the type of language you're probably going to end up using as well to a degree. Just think of any conversation. Think of any conversation you would have had, or think of any argument you might have had. Um, are you talking with a person who thinks that some opinions are better than other opinions? Or are you talking to a person who thinks that all opinions are the same? Now, there's a reason why we're going to end up looking at this, because our subject, our discussion is actually about opinions today. So, in terms of the right way to discuss opinions. And that's what we're looking at here, the right way to discuss different perspectives, different opinions, and how to ultimately uh, try and navigate through the conversation. But I am just interested to begin with, are all opinions equal, or are some opinions better than others? The second question that I'm going to ask is, um, let's go with this actually. Question B, for those of you who'd also like to answer this, is everything a matter of opinion, or are there certain truths and facts that we have to accept? Now, for those of you who like a nice philosophical or political or theological discussion, this is always quite an interesting one, because I know plenty of people who will end up saying that it is just a matter of opinion. So Leondina says, from my perspective, some opinions are better than others, even though all are worthy of respect. Interesting statement, Leondina. When you say all are worthy of respect, what about, because you're talking about tolerance there, Leondina, are there certain, can you think of any opinions that might not be worthy of respect? Let me know. Angela has said, I think some opinions are better than others. And Roberto says, I'd say I prefer opinions motivated by either a principle or an underlying idea. Okay, I like that, Roberto. Nicely worded. And Alida says, I think that as far as the opinion is well founded, it's okay. That's a really nice way of saying, as long as there's good reasons behind the opinion, does the opinion make sense? And that's really important. So the reason here is this. We actually are getting down to something that's quite important, which is, how do you begin to have a civilized conversation with people where there might be disagreement? Okay. Now I'm going to ask you guys to actually give your opinions on this. I'm going to put out some ideas. Okay. So some ideas, maybe you want to think about it from, maybe there's an element of morality to think about. Maybe there's the idea of common good, for example. See, is it about winning the argument, or learning from the conversation? That's going to make a difference as well. Um, is it about uh, is it about believing what the majority of people think, or is it about sticking to what you think makes, or is it about sticking to what you think is true? Let's go with that. So this is to do with how we actually have a conversation. Please give me your opinions on this one. So Leondina says, what I would say that we have to accept other opinions, even they are different from ours. Okay, really, okay, I can see what you're saying there. What I would say is that, Leondina, is that we have to accept other opinions. So you want to put the S on the opinions there, even if they are different. Even if they are different, I'll put that one in there. Okay, even if they are different. Okay, so thank you very much. Even if they are different. So thank you very much for that, Leondina, for giving your opinion on this. Nicely worded. You had a really good go, by the way, of the way you were trying to word it. I completely understood. Just one or two slight changes. Like I would say, what I would say is that, and even if they are different. Okay, so really well done. Angela says, "See, it is about winning the argument or learning from the conversation." I think I'm going to word that slightly differently, because is it about winning the argument, or is it about learning from the conversation? I would like to divide. That's actually two separate questions in one. So, is it a question? Effectively, is it Winning, learning, or both? Let me know. Is it winning, learning, or both? Let me know about that one for C. Now, this is quite important because it's going to tell you the starting place, your starting place, and the other person's starting place. It does depend on the situation. So Roberto says it's about learning. And if it's about learning, that's why we then need to be respectful. If you think there's something to learn about, I think it might, and it's still. What about in the workplace, though, Roberto? Is it still about learning in the workplace? Let me know. Let me know about that one. Okay, so um, I'm actually now we're just going to. I'm now going to see if you guys can respectfully uh, come out with your opinions. Okay, I'm going to introduce something here in the live chat. I would like you guys to have a little think about it and then let me know what you think. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with the statement. You can agree with the statement. You can try to argue both sides. But what I would like to say, what I would like you guys to do here is to give me your perspective respectfully. That's the idea. Okay. If you want more information, you can ask as well. So let's have a go. So this is the perspective. Well, the argument. Um, so this is the statement. Sorry, I took a bit of time. I just want to make sure I got the wording right. So the argument is you cannot have civilized discussions without morality. It is our morality that will govern, which means direct treatment of the treatment. Well, it will govern our treatment of one another, so us, and the type of conversations we have. Really and truly, I mean, it's quite a philosophical one. I'm just trying to push the boat out here so you guys can come back with opinions. Um, so therefore, the question is, therefore, if this is true, do we have to have the same perspective on morality? So that's then the question at the bottom. So Roberta says, well, in a workplace, so this is going back to a previous one. Well, in the workplace, we can always learn from each other. Having said that, we are often supposed to make decisions which could easily lead the discussion a bit more controversial. Really good. Okay, I would just say which could easily lead the discussion towards a more towards being more controversial. Okay, towards being more controversial. Really close. Well done, Roberto. So this is the argument over here, guys. You cannot have civilized discussions without morality. It is our morality that will govern our treatment of one another and the type of conversations we have. Therefore, if this argument is true, do we have to have the same perspective on morality? So you guys come in and tell me. It's a philosophical one. But it's a conversation that happens that I would say is relevant to today. It's the same whether you're talking to between you and friends, you and your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you and your family, you and your work colleagues, you and the public, whatever it might be. So let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Come in. You can disagree with the argument. You can agree with the argument if you like. In case you're thinking, oh, what does this question ask? Okay, some important words here. Morality that will govern. In this case, govern means direct. Okay. And the treatment is the way you are with other people. Okay, the way you are with other people. What's your treatment like of other people? And this is something that I think is quite it's an interesting question about morality in our current world, because you've got lots of different influences on morality. You have the religious, the theological, you have the philosophical, you have the political, and you have the social. And we also live in mixed cultures as well. Um, so I think it's an interesting question to think about. I'd love to see what you guys have to try and say on the subject, because it's before we can have a discussion on opinions. Do we Are we going to treat each other the same? That's really what we're talking about. Do we have to have the same morality in order perspective on morality in order to treat each other's opinions the same way? Um, are we going to listen to each other in the same way? Um, does it make a difference? Or maybe it's not relevant. You guys can come in and tell me. And we'll see what level we can get to as well. But like I said, I want to give you guys the opportunity to come in with some phrases as well. So Roberto says, I think at least people should agree to that part of morality that leads to being respectful. Okay, interesting one there, Roberto. Thank you very much. Um, I like what you've gone in with here. I see where you're coming from. If you want alternatives to think, you can always use. You've got quite a few other options. Um, when you want to say "I think," because "I think" is a phrase for an opinion. Other ones, okay. So if you want to give opinions, you can say "I think," "I believe," "I hold the belief that." That's quite a good one, actually. I hold the belief that. I would go with that, maybe. Belief. There we go. I'd hold the belief that. So here are three alternatives. Well, two alternatives actually. So you've got "I think," which is to go in with an opinion. But another phrase to use to go in with an opinion would be "I believe," or "I hold the belief that." Alida says, I can see where you're coming from. Oh, coming from. We just need from at the end over there, okay? It might be true that you cannot have civilized discussions without morality, but it doesn't imply that we need to have the same perspective on morality. Nicely worded there, Alida. Um, and I think you've expressed yourself very well there. I can see where you're coming from. That's all we need. But I like that opening phrase. Well, that first chunk of language. It's very respectful. It shows that you have acknowledged the argument and you're now going to come in with your perspective. Okay. Now, I know that this type of discussion can be a little bit difficult. So if you are of a lower level, I apologize. I know it can sometimes be a bit difficult. Still try and come in with your opinion. It's always better to try than not to. Now, not every lesson is going to obviously talk about morality or anything like that, but it is an opportunity to try and develop key elements of this language. Okay, so um, let's wrap things up with this. Can you guys give me some examples of how to be respectful when discussing opinions? Can you guys give me some language examples of how to be respectful when discussing opinions? Please come in with some of the things that we have looked at today. So this is an opportunity for even those of you who might be pre-intermediate or elementary. Have a look through the live chat section. We've looked at quite a few phrases today. Please show me in the live chat because that's what you need, the phrase. If you know the phrase, that can help you be better at giving opinions and talking about different opinions, because that was the main focus of today. Phrases like, I see where you're coming from. This is a really, really important one. I see where you're coming from. It shows that you are looking to understand what the person is telling you. Makes such a big difference when you're having a conversation if you think the person is trying to understand you. I mean, you might still be wrong, but at least the person is trying to understand what you're trying to say effectively, the way you're thinking, and maybe more importantly, why you think as well, what you think. And then that will bring us to the end of today's lesson. But like I said, guys, not every lesson is going to be as perhaps difficult as this in terms of trying to think about things. Um, with the greatest respect, I would disagree. I understand what you are saying, but Alida, thank you very much. Some really good examples there. Leondina says, with the greatest respect, absolutely. I see what you're saying. Very good. I can see where you're coming from. Excellent. Those are really good ones. Definitely take a note if any of you still thinking or struggling, make sure you take down those examples that Alida and Leondina have provided. Really good examples. And remember, when you're saying them, slow down your speech. That will automatically make things, it will make you more polite automatically. Right. Okay, just to remind you guys, tomorrow is Thursday. Clarification, making things clear, really important. This is when you're having a conversation and you just want to make things absolutely clear. There could be some confusion. It works whether socially or professionally as well. I can see some of you have liked the video today, so make sure that you do like the video if you have enjoyed today's lesson. Like I said, it can be a bit difficult, this type of thing, but it's not the point. The point of the lesson wasn't to talk about morality. The point of the lesson was to try and have an opportunity to use new phrases discourse markers. These are discourse markers, uh, some kind of discourse markers where you can talk about opinions. You can give your opinion, you can listen and show that you have understood another person's opinion as well. Okay, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Leondina, thank you very much for your contribution today. Alida, you as well, thank you very much. Roberto, you too, well done with your examples today. Angela, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see a new person join the live chat section all the time. Look forward to seeing you as tomorrow, hopefully. Arena F, you too as well. Thank you for always joining these live lessons. Evelina, you as well. Thank you very much for watching, and anyone else who might have been watching. Alida says, thanks, Richard. Have a great day. You too, Alida. Leondina says, waiting for tomorrow's lesson. I wish you a great evening. Thank you. Thank you, Leondina. Roberta says, thanks, Richie. Very interesting lesson. Take care and have a great time. Thank you very much. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great evening, and I will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with another live lesson. Tomorrow, we're going to look at language that can help you make sure that the other person has understood what you have said. Being clear. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and bye for now. You're welcome, Angela.